Welcome back. Here we are, another episode of Still Positive, and guess what? This is the 10th episode of this show. Such an honor that we've gotten here. Again, 10. Can't wait for it to be 11, and then 100, and then 1,000. We're just going up from here, baby. So jump in with me. You know what I read the other day? That it's an ableist terminology to say clicking in. Shout out to my first episode. Or second. You tell me. Write in and let me know what episode I said we're clicking in and was acting all ableist. It is ableist though, because there are people that can't click on their keyboards or mouse. So there's a whole bunch of different ways to access content. You can use your tab and enter buttons on your keyboard, or you can have a screen reader. There's a whole bunch of different ways that people access the internet, and clicking is not always one of them. So if you're ever creating a button and it says click here, you're kind of being an ableist. This is a rant, so I'm going to get off of it. I was just thinking about it. Welcome to the 10th episode! Joining us on this 10th episode of Still Positive is Gabrielle. If you've ever wanted content that has MS awareness, but also dark comedy and chronic illness realness, definitely check into Gabrielle is Tired on Instagram and TikTok. She has some great videos about bringing MS awareness to a bigger picture and really diving into what people with chronic illness are dealing with, but also sharing with us a little bit more about her obsession with Britney Spears, because it is real. And after listening to this episode, I went back and I listened to the Blackout album, and really almost all of the songs are very good. So highly suggest a re-listen to Britney Spears pretty much always. And I hope you enjoy this episode of Gabrielle living with MS. Let's be real. People love to gloss over chronic conditions or disabilities with a fleeting comment like, just be positive, or a fleeting insult like, kale will cure you. This is a podcast for when you face a different reality, knowing that positivity isn't a magic wand that's going to cure everything, but a flashlight in the dark that we may or may not have batteries to. Living with a chronic illness or disability makes you feel different, and your difference could be noticeable to others or not, but either can sometimes make you feel invisible. I'm here to tell you that your experience is valid and shared by others in the dark. Positivity is not the missing puzzle piece that's going to solve your life's puzzle, but it can be a beautiful tool that can help you grow, and sharing those experiences can make us grow together. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am originally from the Midwest. I moved to California in 2010. I initially started working as a makeup artist and a stylist, and then I got bitten by the bug of wanting to be the one to be in front of the camera. So I started acting and modeling, and and I still do acting, but more than anything, my chronic illness journey has just taken over, and not intentionally. And I'm all about making lemonade out of lemons at this point and helping other people that are going through it, because it's such a life ruiner.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And so what's your relationship to your chronic illness?
Oh gosh, it's like a marriage where I'm abused, but stuck with the person. And I don't know if that's like the best analogy. It beats me. It beats me and throws me around, and I'm like, no, stop.
Yep.
It I'm trying to learn to live with it and coexist with it, because I don't have a choice.
Yeah.
So my relationship right now is still one of a lot of process. I have not even been diagnosed with MS for 2 years.
Wow.
So that's relatively new.
Yeah.
I think I've had it for a while, and I think it's something that doctors didn't catch. But yeah, right now I'm still grieving, and even then, sometimes when I feel like I'm not, like, I got this. I understand what's going on and I accept it. Something will happen, or I'll even see something on TV or whatever, and I'm back to square one, and I'm just like crying and depressed that it's happening to me.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a roller coaster, and especially when you have put in so much effort just to, like, find out what it is, and then, like, sitting with it and realizing that it's such a drastic difference from your past life.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It felt like such a relief to get an answer because I have had symptoms since I was 17, which
Wow.
is crazy. It feels weird to even say out loud. When I was 17, I had like a lot of bladder issues, and then they diagnosed me with interstitial cystitis and pelvic floor dysfunction and endometriosis. Pelvic floor dysfunction being something that the mechanics of your pelvic floor don't work well. Like, so it's something that our body automatically does. You pee, your body releases. So, there's like urinary retention and pain. And that's one of the first things I was diagnosed with. And then after that, it was like stomach stuff like IBS, SIBO. Um, and then it just was like system after system was malfunctioning. And, I was left pulling my hair out of my head, being like, so what is going on with me? So what's the answer? And they would go, oh, we don't know. And out of desperation, I would bring in lists, just trying to help them
Mhm.
because I didn't like that I didn't have an answer. I would write lupus, MS, Epstein Barr, cancer, I don't know, tell me what's going on with me. And they would laugh in my face and go, oh, no, 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 you're much too young for any of those things. You're okay. It's none of those things.
Oh my
So
god.
they finally told me in 2018, right? Yeah. Half of me was relieved because I was like, I know with the stomach stuff, the dizziness, the fatigue, like it's not in my head. I'm not
Yeah.
insane. I'm not too young.
Right.
It's real and it's multiple sclerosis.
Wow. That is
Yeah.
such a crazy journey to go through because it is like the discovery part can take so long, like tests to come back. You're feeling like, I'm just crazy. Like, I just don't know. But you feel like, I know that like something's wrong and something's different. And so, like, you advocating for that and like bringing things to your doctor is really cool that you were able to do that.
Thank you. Yeah, it disturbs me on so many levels just because I was not maliciously abused by the system, but like they really, really missed what was going on. And I get that I'm maybe especially a hard case because I did come in with my tattoos, and back then I would wear makeup every day, and I'd be cracking jokes, and I mean, yeah, they probably were like, this girl's just like, I don't know, it's nothing serious.
Right.
Um, but I just think that's what doctors should really open their minds to and really look outside of the box because things can look very much the opposite of what they are. And if I wasn't someone who was assertive and angry and came from like a family that encouraged me to be that way, God knows. I mean, maybe I still wouldn't have my answer.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And I read one of your posts too that was saying at first where you would go to the doctors and they'd be like, "But you look great."
They still do that.
Yeah. And I felt the exact same way at first. I was like, That's nice, thank you." And then after
Yeah.
I was like, "Wait, but I feel like shit. So like I don't care that you think I look good because I put on some eyeliner today. That shouldn't be
Yep.
the baseline of you're fine then, you know."
Exactly. Yeah. Because a lot of people in the world are trying so hard to look okay. Like
Exactly.
every second I have pain right now. I have pain right this second. And I could make you think that I was like, oh, today I'm having the best day. Zero pain level.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't take a lot to fake it. And,
Mhm.
we're maybe some people show up to their appointments hysterically crying. Part of me wishes I was that person, but no, I go there with like my big girl pants on to be like, these are my symptoms. Like, what are we gonna do? This is what's been happening to me daily. And I think sometimes they mistake that for you being okay.
Mhm.
I'm like, should I send you photos of me like crying in my pajamas?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, but then on the other side of the coin, like, I have gone in there feeling like shit, and then they immediately look to, like, my mom or the oldest person in the room, and they're like, "So let me tell you what's going on with Dana. I can hear you, but I just feel like shit." So I don't know. It's so difficult to decide, like, what it is that's going to make you be heard and, like, taken seriously. I mean, I've had really thankfully right now, I've had really good doctors, so I'm feeling fantastic about them and I love them so much. I have had shitty doctors though in the past that I have felt like I needed to advocate for myself.
Yeah, it's hard to find the good ones. And when you do, you're just so relieved.
Yeah. Yeah, like thank you for actually understanding that like I'm not lying to you and I really feel this way because it's difficult
Yeah, exactly.
for
It's
sure.
really, really, really hard to find those guys or girls.
Yeah. So when you were, going through and before you got diagnosed, were what sort of symptoms were you feeling that made you think that you had something serious wrong?
Yeah, yeah. So um it started out with bladder symptoms, urinary retention. Like I said, they diagnosed me with a bladder disease called interstitial cystitis. Um, my pelvic muscles were malfunctioning. Every now and then I would get like almost like my legs were drunk. Like I would be walking with my friends or whatever, and then it's almost like the pattern of walking. My body would get like a little bit confused on that pattern.
Mm,
I was like, I'm probably tired or anxious. I don't know.
yeah.
I've always had pretty crippling fatigue. Like I do one errand or I just do one thing and I'm like spent for the day. There's that spoon theory that you start out with so many spoons
Mhm.
and that's it's the struggle of being someone with health problems is that you run out of energy so quickly. So the fatigue, brain fog. Oh, but then the stomach issues as well. But the cherry on top was the sudden blindness. That was something that I'd never experienced before.
Wow.
I woke up one day, went to like a health food store to look at supplements, and I couldn't the label. There was like something in the way of my eyes, and I was like, oh, I think I tore my contact lens, or I don't know. I just thought something was maybe in my eye. Went home, took my contacts out. It was still there. So I thought, oh, maybe I touched my eye. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's some sort of like infection. I should probably go to the doctor, or maybe it'll go away. So I waited like 2 or 3 days and I went in to see the ophthalmologist. And he said to me, everything looks totally normal. Like they looked in the back of my eye to see my optic nerve. He said everything looks completely normal.
Oh.
And then he said to me, your hair is so dark and you're so pale. I've only ever really seen that in Japan. Like, what's your ethnicity? And asking, and I was like, listen, I'm more than happy to talk about my hair and like my hair routine and all that stuff. But I was like, I literally cannot see.
Right.
So he let me go, like, no suggestions. He was just like, all I can tell you is that your eyes look totally fine.
Mm.
So I was in a panic and I had never been like dismissed on something so dramatic. Um, and I ended up looking up like the name of a rheumatologist or something. I saw him, they ordered an MRI. An hour after my MRI, and this is a lesson I've learned. If you get a call an hour after your MRI, it's usually not good. So
Yeah.
so they called me back and they were like, your optic nerve is swollen. I'm sorry, it's inflamed. Um, you need to get like a more extensive MRI. I got a 3-hour one,
Whoa.
and they did it of my brain and my spine. And then that is what led to my diagnosis of having multiple sclerosis. But the optic neuritis, that's what I refer to as the cherry on top, because I had never had sudden blindness before. I didn't even know that was something that could ever happen.
Yeah, that is really scary.
So scary.
And for the first doctor to just be like, "No, it looks fine." Like, how did he miss that? You know, you would think that you would be able to see that when he looks through, even a little bit if it's swollen, you know?
Exactly. Or why was he not like, I don't know what it is, but you need to definitely see someone else? Like, I have a
Yeah.
referral for you.
Yeah.
Because had I been someone who was like, oh, I trust my doctor,
Right, right.
it must be crazy. Like, I would have gone home and not done anything and not found out like what in God's name was wrong with me.
Wow.
It's so scary.
It is so scary.
That's why I'm obsessed right now with talking about it, because I don't want that to ever happen to another person.
Yeah, because there are so many people that just go along with what the doctor says and then
Mhm.
never check up about it. You know, hopefully it doesn't, but it could get worse and then you're in more of a hole, you know?
Exactly.
That's so
Exactly.
scary. So, since finding out that you've had multiple sclerosis, do you think that that was probably also the endo and stuff like that? Or do you think that you still have endo?
So, what's like one of the most depressing parts about it all is that I don't think MS is my only thing. I always say that like my MS is the playground that all the other diseases play on. But I really do, I do think that my endometriosis is endometriosis. It doesn't have anything to do with the MS, but um, it's there, and that's a life ruiner in itself.
Right.
And on top of it all, I actually have something called Ehlers-Danlos, which is a connective tissue disease. So basically, it's like your body is built on like quicksand. Like it doesn't have a good foundation. So like you're hypermobile. There are different kinds of Ehlers, but mine is the hypermobile EDS. So like I had a neck disc replacement. You probably can't see it on camera, maybe a little bit. I had a neck disc replacement over the summer during quarantine.
Wow.
And it's not like, oh, well, I did this crazy thing to like need to do that. Just like with Ehlers, it's like a house that kind of like falls apart on itself.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you had to get, saw like a metal plate into your neck?
Yes,
Oh,
yeah, so they, took my neck disc out, which is, like, between all the vertebrae of your spine. You have, like, these spongy little kinda like traction to
mm,
help things, like, something that almost like something that would be on your car's wheels to, like,
okay.
be able to, handle, like, bumps on the road. So mine just sort of collapsed and herniated. So they replaced that with an artificial one. So I always joke about being a bionic woman.
Yes.
But yeah, so they put that in there, and it's, I'm part robot now.
Whoa. That's pretty nuts. Do you feel it?
I don't at all. And I initially was like heartbroken about the scar, but like it's probably not showing up on Zoom very well, but it's very subtle. It's almost like it gives me more character. So I'm just so thankful that it's something that I don't even feel the need to like go get it lasered or anything, because I don't know, I just feel like it sort of is badass. And it's like, look what I withstood.
Yeah, I agree. I love
Yeah,
having
it's super
scars.
cool.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that too it doesn't hurt or anything like that.
Oh my God, immediately I felt better.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
One thing immediately felt better. That's very, very, very rare for me.
Yeah, totally. And was it just that you had, like, constant neck pain, and that's how you found it?
Yeah, I just started to get like, and I have pain all the time. So sometimes I'm like, what's normal pain? What's MS pain? What's Ehlers-Danlos pain? And then what's like normal person, like you did something and you need to have it fixed pain.
Mhm.
So yeah, that pain, it just got so bad. It started going like down my arm and like kind of into my ears. And
Oh,
um,
man.
it got so bad over quarantine that I finally went to the doctor, and they were immediately like, we need to do surgery.
Oh my gosh.
So another thing to cry about and then have to get over.
For real, it's so traumatizing, like, there was a point where I was afraid to take my temperature because I just didn't wanna have to go to the emergency room. I was like, "I don't wanna do it again." Like, you're
Absolutely.
packing for, like, however long, you get real good at packing for the hospital, that's for sure,
Mhm.
but, like, it was annoying, like, I didn't wanna go, but I knew that I had to, and I was like,
Yeah.
"You have to be a big girl, Dana. You gotta just go."
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely, and
so
it's really I don't understand how anyone could ever not be angry about it because while we're constantly packing for the hospital or procedures or surgeries, it's like, there are people that like they're like, "I'm going to pick up a pack of beer." Like,
Yeah,
we don't have that life. Like, we have the opposite of that life, and it makes it so hard to relate to people.
yeah,
Even when they're nice about it and they listen, you're just like, "Yeah, you just don't know what this is like, though." And they truly don't. It's not
yeah.
even like I'm not even trying to be like a jerk about it. They actually don't get it, which I know you know.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's really challenging trying to I was trying to at first, like, just be normal me and, like, go about with my friends and, like, do 20 something thing.
Yeah. Yep.
And I was like, "Oh, yeah, I can do this." And then I'm like, I don't know, out of breath or, like, I can't, like, hike with them at all. And I'm like,
Exactly.
"I'm just gonna hang back, guys." Like, it was just different, and they just didn't understand really. So it is
Yeah.
challenging. But
Yeah.
then I started trying to reach out to people online and just, like, get a better handle on, like, how other people are coping with it, and just getting better, like, acquainted with, like, this cancer side of me because I was like, "Well, it's still here, I might as well, like, sort of befriend it for a little bit," and that's where I'm at.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing because there's no other way to go about it. There's
Yeah.
just not. I mean, unless I guess if you have like the world's best support system in the world, but I feel like people rarely do.
Yeah. Yeah, for for real.
Yeah.
But so when you're feeling all this pain and you're dealing with your MS and all of your chronic illnesses, how do you go about and do like your job, like acting and things like that?
Well, I decided to take a break from it. Well, first of all, we had quarantine and COVID and all that stuff. So I've been afraid of people.
Yeah,
Um,
same.
yeah, I've been afraid of being around anyone. But other than that, I really took a step back and just decided to make advocacy my life because I just think to being a teenager and sitting in on doctor's appointments that were I was not old enough to be in. Like it's not even about like legally, mentally I shouldn't have been at those things alone. I didn't have the support of a parent to be there. It's not that they're not in my life. They just, they just weren't those kind of people. So I really don't want that to happen to anyone else. So instead of putting all my focus on acting or modeling or whatever, it has become more of this full time. That's not to say I'm not passionate about those other things, but this is it's with me no matter what. I'm just like I said, making lemonade out of lemons.
Totally. And I think that's
Yeah.
really great that you want to do things like that and really inspiring.
Yeah, thank you. I also think a lot about the mental health aspect of it because I struggle with that too. See, there's like more I don't want to say normal people, but like things that are more common, like anxiety and depression. That's a little bit more normal than all the physical stuff I have. But um I think about the people who also have that and suicide and self-harm or whatever else. I see in my support groups that happens, that people kill themselves over things like this, which I can totally understand. And I would never, I want to do everything humanly possible to make sure that that doesn't happen,
Yeah.
or that people feel like they're not alone. I have had so many times, and I'm sure you have too, where I've been like, it's literally just me. Like I'm seeing the names online, but like I don't know these people in real life. In real life, nobody has what I have.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there
Mhm.
some sort of like goal that you want to accomplish with advocating for MS?
That's such a good question. I think in my dream universe, it would be to be public speaking about it, just to raise awareness, because even when I knew what MS was before I was diagnosed, but I mean, even as I have it and I'm living with it, I still learn new things about it all the time. So I want to educate people about it. Maybe the supporters of loved ones, their daughter has it, or their sibling, or their significant other. But I also want to, like I said, just speak about it to help people going through it. I want to educate the world and support the people that are literally in the middle of it. And I'm like, maybe if I say it, I'll manifest it. I think it would be really cool if Selma Blair knew of my existence, and maybe like we could do something together, because she's such a big advocate for MS,
Yeah.
and she's just so fucking cool.
So
And
cool.
yeah, she's just badass. And I just would love to do something with her. I don't know what that is, but something.
Oh, I'm so down. I want that
Yeah,
collaboration.
she's the
Yeah.
coolest. She's the coolest.
Yeah, she is. Well, that would be great. I'm totally down
Hmm.
to follow all of that. I think that chronic illness and just facing these things is wider than just your specific ailment. But I also think that speaking to that group of people is really
Hmm.
important to share specific things that you go through because it's different for everyone.
Yeah, it really is. That's the crazy thing about it, because a lot of what people think is that like MS is MS, stomach issues are stomach issues, but you can have certain common things or not, which I'm sure you've also experienced. Like, people are like, well, you're not limping, you're not using a cane, you have MS. Like, yeah, because that's
Mhm.
not the case for everyone. Or like, I have major eye issues every day, every second, sudden blindness. Not every MS person has that.
Yeah.
So another thing I think doctors should really keep their eyes open about. It doesn't look the same for everyone.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Everyone's different and everyone reacts to
Mhm.
things differently. People really say
Yeah.
that to you? Like, "Why aren't you walking with a cane?" Like,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. People, I mean, they say a lot of hurtful things. I don't think they're trying to hurt my feelings, but even like we were just talking about the, well, you look really good. I know they're trying to be nice,
Mhm.
but like, yeah, it's a little invalidating.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely feel like that. And
Mm.
I know that they just don't know what to say, but I'm
Yeah.
just like, maybe don't say anything. Like,
Yeah.
let's practice silence in that case.
Yeah, I do realize that it's a tough spot for people that are around people like us, because they don't know if they should like mention the elephant in the room or not.
Mhm.
I prefer that they say something, because it feels weird to not. It's
Right.
like it's like such a huge part of my life that it feels weird to just like act like it's not there.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, I realize that it's hard for them to figure out how to go about that, but that's another thing that I sort of like want to figure out how to maybe discuss or post about, because they need help too. People who are just like around us and don't know what to say.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of that, definitely.
Yeah.
And it's like sometimes it's just better to like sit with someone in it for a little bit. And like if you don't want to say anything, then just like don't.
Yeah. Or ask like, what do you need? What does it make you comfortable to talk about it? Is it okay if we talk about, do you not want to talk about it? Like,
Yeah.
all it takes is asking.
Right. Exactly. And like we said, everyone's different and like some people are okay with it and some people aren't. So yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I know a lot of people with MS who are like kind of like in the closet about it. Like, they
Mm,
don't want people to know that they have it. I don't prescribe to that, but I respect that they do.
yeah. Yeah, definitely. So have you always been a advocate for death or has it just come about?
You mean just like liking morbid things?
Yes.
Okay, so my entire life I've been super, super into more morbid things and like ghosts and kind of creepy stuff. I think it started because when I was little, my mom was into that stuff. So she would take me on like ghost tours back in Chicago. Um, or we would watch like specials on TV about haunted places around the world. So I think that really sparked it for me. And I think there's like a strange beauty to it all. And like cemeteries are so beautiful.
Mhm.
Um, so yes, the whole like gothic um death, um that whole concept I just think is really beautiful. And it's something that's inevitable.
Yeah.
So it's something like we all eventually will deal with. I know that's really morbid and some people would be like, what's wrong with you? But I think it's a really, really interesting topic.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I definitely advocate for more open conversation about death, and I know that it's definitely not for everyone, but you're right, it's just inevitable, so why don't we just, like, talk about it more? I don't know.
Yeah. It does scare me like a normal person. It scares me. I guess that's like the weird fascination about it
Mhm.
is that I'm terrified. I'm terrified of me going anywhere or any of my loved ones going anywhere, but like we're definitely going to.
Right.
And it's just, I don't know. I just love heavy conversation as opposed to like, what'd you do this weekend? I
Yeah.
just do better with like really, really real stuff.
Yeah, same. Wait, are you a Scorpio?
No, but
Okay.
that is so well, I shouldn't say no because
You're
it
right on
is
the edge.
my I think I'm not like a pro, but it's my rising sign.
Okay, yeah.
It's like the sign that the world sees you as. But I'm a Cancer.
Okay, there
What
you
about you?
go. I'm a Scorpio.
Oh, damn. I love Scorpios, but yeah, so it's in my chart and I think it's in my chart more than once.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, we
Love
love
Scorpios.
the deep conversation for sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Scorpios and Cancers get along really, really well. They're both intense as fuck.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad that you are open about that, and I think it's really cool.
Thank you.
I wasn't so open about death until, like, I really had to face it and, like, look it
Yeah,
straight in the eyes, and then I was like, "All right, you're real." Like, "Let's do
yeah,
this." Like
yeah. To think about our mortality is it's just so it's such a big thing. It's huge. It's so overwhelming. I know that I've read people with MS have like 6 to 7 years less than the
wow.
average bear.
Yeah.
And I know that's not necessarily set in stone, but it could be. I don't know. That's why I'm living every day big. Like, even if it just means I'm home alone with my dog, I just like when we're in the backyard, I like look at her and I really take it in and how beautiful she is and like how nice it is outside. So that helps to combat the depression about it all.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Because sometimes I'll get stuck in that space and, it's hard because I deal with depression and I
Yeah,
just want to be able to, like, get up and be like, "That's not me," like, "Whatever, rah, rah, rah." And
I
then
know.
it's just so hard. It's so hard sometimes to really, like, push it aside. But I've found that, like, accepting it and, like, just better understanding of what depression is because you hear about it, but I never totally understood it until it, like, hit me, and I was like, "I just can lay on the couch and watch TV, and that's all I can do today," and then be like,
Yeah,
"Okay, that's it."
yeah, and like giving yourself permission to do that.
Yeah, but knowing, like, my partner is, like, definitely an ass kicker, so if he sees it happens for, like, a little too long, he'll be like,
Yeah,
"Dana, you're allowed 1 more day of this, and then you have to stop," and I'm like, "Okay, I needed that, thank you." Like
that's amazing though. Yeah, because you want someone who's understanding, but like, you also want them to be like, okay, like
Yeah, it's time.
I'm not letting you just like roll over and die.
Yeah, yeah, and I definitely need that. I think everyone needs a little kick in the butt, you know?
Yeah, and there's like a sweet spot, like not too aggressive and like mean and not too like, okay.
Right, right, because
It
there's
sounds like you've got a nice
he's a good one, he's a good one.
guy.
Yeah, there's definitely the other side of the coin where people don't understand it and then are trying to kick you in the ass for it, and that is really dangerous.
Yeah, I've heard people have told me, okay, just like get up, just like act like it's not there. Maybe if you tell yourself it's not there, you'll be able to like, function. And I'm like, it's funny because at first I buy it. I'm like, yeah, yeah. And then I'm like, that's like actually really abusive to say and invalidating and hurtful and just like that is not going to work for me.
No, and that's them totally just not understanding it and thinking that it's just like a flip of a switch, like,
Exactly.
just turn
Yeah.
the light on.
Yeah, and maybe some people have that luxury where they can, because like we were just saying everyone's chronic illnesses are different. So
Mhm.
maybe some of them aren't affected so badly, which is awesome and like that's the coolest thing I've ever heard. However, for myself, I don't know how it is for you. I can't like hide it under the bed or like put a rug over it.
Yeah,
I wish.
I wish. It depends on the time, but for sure.
Yeah.
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 Well, thanks so much for being open about it. I think that's really
Of
cool.
course. Of course.
So when did you officially become a fan of Britney Spears?
Oh my god.
Was it initial, like, just from the get-go?
So, I remember the first time I ever saw Britney.
Yes. You saw her
I
live?
No, 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 no,
Okay,
I
okay.
wish. She's, like, one of the only celebrities I've never seen in real life. I'm like, "D Will I? That would be so nice." So I was homesick, how ironic, in junior high, and I remember, like, laying on the couch and seeing "Hit Me Baby One More Time," and I was like, what is this? What is she? Who is she?" And, like, the schoolgirl skirt, and I was like, "I fucking love this woman."
Yeah.
So that junior high, that's when I first became a fan of Britney. And I still love her to this day. There are things like I do miss old Britney a little bit, which I is maybe not the nicest thing to say. Just like her style and like her haircut and like her dance moves, like her whoever her choreographer was back in the day. Oh my
Yeah.
god, I just watch her videos on YouTube and just like or I
So
watch
good.
them when I work out to like just like abs. Like you could
Yes.
have those abs.
Yes.
You could have those abs
100%.
keep going. And it kind of works, honestly.
Oh, that's
Love her.
awesome. She's great. And did you, you learn her dance moves, right?
Oh my god, I'm always trying. I'm always trying. I just want to be her.
So good. I
Yeah, I
love
just want
that.
to be Britney.
I mean, hey, you're on your way. I see your dance moves. I think they're really
Yeah.
good.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. Because I cannot move like that. But she's it's really cool. I do like love looking at her old choreography, like you said,
Oh my
and just
god,
like
her live performances, like the older ones, they're astonishing. It's kind of like in this vein of chronic illness. Actually, if it wasn't for all of this stuff and it happening to me as a teenager and all that, I originally, like, if we go back to childhood, I wanted to be a singer and a dancer. I wanted to be like a Britney.
Mhm.
So, like when I go into procedures and they like put me in anesthesia, that's where I go. Like I just singing and dancing, I performing.
Oh, I love that.
Love it.
Your videos are so good. I love your
Thank
TikTok
you.
videos. I think they're really fun,
Thank you.
relatable. Yeah,
Yeah, I would
absolutely.
love to do like more serious ones too, but unfortunately, you have 60 seconds at most. And then on Instagram, it's even less. So that's why I want to start a Gabrielle is Tired YouTube channel because like I need time to speak.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
like as much as I am funny, I have so much serious stuff to talk about.
Yeah. I really appreciate you sharing all of that because it's like a fun, like humorous look that I don't think many people have. And I think that it's
Yes.
really cool that you do.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad that you do too, because if we don't have that, it will take us down.
Yeah.
Humor is like seriously one of my main tools for dealing with all of this.
Yeah. It has to be. You have to look at some sort of light in this because there's nothing other than that, just like laugh. Laugh about how shitty it is, laugh about how like no one understands, just laugh about the things that bring you down or else you'll just be stuck there.
Exactly. It's so true. Yeah. When I'm in like the most, because like with endometriosis and pelvic floor dysfunction, like, you'll have like a lot of like female appointments. And
Mhm.
I'm just like cracking jokes through them and like making the doctors uncomfortable because you have to.
Yeah.
You have to. Otherwise, like, you'll just cry, which is okay too, but I also want to laugh about everything.
Yeah. At least you know that you're probably your doctor's, like, favorite appointment.
I hope so. I do hope so. Yeah, I'm always just like trying to make the room laugh as I'm
Yeah,
going through like horrible situations.
totally. So
Mhm.
what sort of treatments are you on for your chronic illnesses right now?
Sure, sure. So which is a really good message. A year and a half into my MS diagnosis, I still was not taking a DMT, which is a disease modifying therapy. I was scared. I was scared of the side effects. So I did make the wrong decision by not medicating it, which, everyone is different. Some people don't. Some people are like, I'm just going to eat clean and work out. I just didn't treat it. And then I had my first relapse in October 2020, went blind again.
Wow.
So I started a medication called Tysabri, which is an infusion that you get every 4 weeks. So it's heavy. It's heavy to like, and I know you understand it's heavy to go somewhere and just like be really vulnerable and get a needle stuck in your arm every 4 weeks. It feels just like emotional and invasive, but I just try to be so grateful that I'm doing it, that I'm getting that treatment because I know somewhere there is someone who isn't able to treat their MS. So yes, I'm on Tysabri. So far, so good. It's only been 6 months.
Okay. And that helps with any sort of pain, or it's just sort of like maintaining what you
So
have?
the kind of scary thing about MS medication is that for me so far, it doesn't really do anything in the moment. So it's not like you go in for your infusions and then you're like, oh, I feel great now. You
Mhm.
go in for your infusions and you feel kind of shittier after your infusions. You feel tired, worn out, and you just hope that it's keeping you in a relapse. So
Mm,
like, yeah, there's not really anything you feel in the moment. All it's doing is keeping your disease from progressing.
okay.
So yeah, it doesn't really do much for the pain. For the pain, I like to lay down with my heating pad and watch something funny or watch videos on TikTok. Um, and smoking pot. Smoking pot is like, honestly, it's medicine. It's
Yeah,
truly, truly medicine. So, um, CBD, it all really, really helps me. At least, like, if it's not going to make your pain better, it will make your headspace better for like sitting in it, sitting in the pain.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So, those are my main tools.
Well, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely I have to get on this heating pad game because everyone keeps saying the heating pad, and I'm like, "I need to get one of these." Like
It's the best ever, honestly. It just like, I'm so emotionally and physically attached to it at this point that like I always just have it on me. Even if I'm in bed and I'm not in like agonizing pain, if I'm just at like a baseline pain, I'm like always just laying there like tucked in with it.
I love it. It's so good. Oh, man. So throughout all of your experience with chronic illness, endometriosis, and MS, do you find that you can still be positive on your day to day?
Yes and no. Um, I would say no day is just negative or just positive. Every day is like an up and down of both. So like this morning I woke up depressed, angry, and now we're talking and I feel happy. I feel happy that we're talking. I feel really great about connecting with another person who gets it, who I don't have to explain it to. Um, who knows where I'll be later today, but yeah, just like increments of positivity and increments of depression. It definitely is all about your perspective. So every time I'm sitting there being like, why me? And like, it's just me and everything sucks and I'm sick and blah blah blah. I just try to like shift my perspective to like I got to play with my dog Lemon today, or I got to hang out with my fiance today, or like I just try to really think about the more optimistic things.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Yeah.
great. And thank you for being honest because it's not always like this joyous ride that's like the inspiration journey. It's not that. And it's really like such a challenge to show up, but then also live your life, because you want
Yeah.
so badly to just be able to do everything that you can, especially being in these circumstances. And it's so challenging just trying to navigate a different way to find those things to do. But, finding those things or finding that good day that you can do those things is really where I find positivity. It's like, okay, so maybe this isn't the week, but like maybe it's in 2 weeks, or maybe it's just like I don't actually have to hike up that mountain. Maybe I can just like go around the side or something. Like,
Yeah, yeah, and it's interesting because I'm someone who loves, like, answers, like, "Where am I going? How am I doing it? What am I wearing? How will," like, I want organization, like, in an OCD sort of way. I actually literally have OCD. So it's funny that life threw me this, like, really unpredictable disease. Like,
Mhm.
things are not organized at all, and that's something every day I'm dealing with. Like, today you can't wear like those cool shoes because you're not going to be able to walk in them, or you can't like go to that flea market in the heat because it's too hot out and you're going to like seriously almost pass out. So
Mhm.
it's about adjusting, and like I'm so not that person who is going to adjust, like, so it's very ironic that that's my life now. I have to just like roll with the punches. I'm not that girl originally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nope.
Oh man, that's a challenge for sure. I was always a roll with the
Mhm.
punches type of person, and even being that person, losing such control is challenging. It's so challenging,
Yeah.
but having chronic illness really made me see that like you literally control almost nothing. You just think that you
Yeah,
do.
it's
And
so true, it's so true, and even with, like, body image stuff, so, like, I've had eating disorder issues and, like, OCD with that, body dysmorphia. So, like, sometimes with MS, you'll have to get steroids if you're in a relapse and they need to, like, chill down the inflammation. You're gonna gain weight, you're gonna look swollen, you're gonna get bloated, like, that's right now for me one of the hardest things,
mhm,
like, just rolling with even, like, physically looking maybe not
mhm,
your best.
totally.
So, it's such a bummer, and, like, I just want people to know that I fucking get it. It is,
Yeah.
like, it's the worst, and there's nothing you can do than just, like, roll with it, try to make good food choices, but yeah, the, things being unknown it's a bitch. It's a
Yeah,
real bitch.
it really is. Yeah. Well, I think that you're doing really great things with advocacy, and I can't wait to see what you come up with next.
Thank you so much. I'm
You're
so excited
welcome.
to see everything you're doing, and I'm so happy to be a part of it. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. I could literally talk to you for like 5 million hours.
Yes.
And that's all she wrote, folks. Thank you for joining us for the 10th episode of Still Positive. And I really hope that you enjoyed this last episode with Gabrielle. And I hope that you follow her on Instagram and TikTok at Gabrielle is Tired. Subscribe for another new episode coming up next week where we have another person living with chronic illness and or disabilities where we can chat it up and talk about the similarities and differences that each person has with these chronic illnesses and disabilities. There is some sort of link that we need to connect on, and I think that that is the mission that we have here. I hope that this has been helpful. Please like and subscribe. And again, stay sick as always. You're doing great. Keep it up. You're fucking awesome. Love you.